Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Simos from Naya. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. The fact that this administration and the head of this administration is telling you that, releasing the file is a hoax to White House, like it's hostile to White House, and Democrats are the one. Hey, now let me tell you something. They are the party of truth and the honor, not until it is time to release the Epstein's file. They are the party that protects children's right, not until it is time for the file to be released. They are Christian nation and they are practicing Christian, not until it is time for them to release the Epstein's file. See, let me tell you all something. This administration know what they are doing, and they are trying to tell you that instead of focusing on that file, that you should focus on what they have done so far for the administration, for how many months they've been in the office. Now, let me ask you something. What is it exactly that this administration have actually done to what have they actually achieved that you want to celebrate? Except you are a liar. You are a liar. I see so many white people trying to defend this administration and the things they have done. See, you are a very bad person, because if something like this had happened to your child, I don't know what you are going to do, because you all are like, self-centered human beings. Because you're Christian, this can tell you that you have to forgive so that your Father in heaven will forgive you. What a lame excuse. Let's get into this video.
If Trump had nothing to do with all the bad stuff that Jeffrey Epstein was doing, and he's not on the client list, why is he fighting so hard to keep the files from being released? Why is the DOJ and Pam Bondi hiding everything? Why are they trying to redact everything? Why was the FBI looking for his name throughout the files so they could redact them or hide them? He's doing this in front of everybody, and today the full panic is setting in. He is threatening members of Congress that if they demand the release of the files, that they're going to have trouble getting reelected, meaning he and his people will primary them in the midterms. I mean, he's threatening people. He's fighting so hard that these files not be released. Why would anybody do what he is doing if they had nothing to do with it? In fact, he sends in the military into all these cities because what? He says he cares about people. He cares about justice. He cares about fighting crime. Okay, and then when the Epstein files come out, he's like, no, don't release those, no. And he's doing everything he can to not have those files released. So the man who pretends to care about the people could give a crap about the people because he needs to save his own neck.
Can somebody tell me why Trump and the administration is calling GOP members and telling them if they sign that bill to release the Epstein files, it would be considered a hostile act toward the White House? Why is he saying it? Why is it that he wants to be complete transparent? He wants complete transparency with these files. And then when they say, hey, release the files, and if they sign their name to release them, he turns around and says, if you do that, that's going to be considered a hostile act against him. Why is it a hostile act against him if he wants complete transparency? Why is it a hostile act toward him if he's not in the files? And they say he's not in the files, and they had Jaslane, whatever name, Maxwell, come out and say, oh, she never saw Trump do anything. So if he is so innocent and she has cleared him, as they are out here boastering, saying she has cleared him of any wrongdoing, then why would releasing those files be a hostile act towards him? It doesn't make freaking sense. Y'all will continue to allow this man to screw your head on and off and pour crap down of it and tell you it's vitamin D. Everything, if you would just open your eyes and use your ability to think for yourself, you will see that this man has been gaslighting y'all, making a complete fool out of y'all, playing y'all for ignorant from day one. Now, my thing is this. You're either in them or you're not. If you're not in them, releasing them will not be a hostile act towards you. But if you are in them, I can see you seeing that as a hostile act. The man is telling on himself. They running around here trying to prevent these files from coming out. They're sending out stuff they've already sent out and saying we're being transparent. And then when someone says, no, this has already been released, send out the Epstein file. That's only 1% of the information that y'all have. So send it out. And then when they get together and say, well, we're going to sign and say, send it out. Now you want to holler it's a hostile act. Why is it a hostile act if you ain't did nothing? If you ain't in the files, why is it hostile towards you? He's telling on himself. He's threatening these people, saying if you sign this, it's going to be considered a hostile act toward me, which means they know he's going to retaliate. So he's threatening them to keep them in line. Why do you need to threaten to keep people in line if you're not in the freaking files? Y'all got way more sense than y'all sit up and use. Y'all got way more sense than y'all sit up and talk about. Because y'all know good and damn well, if that man wasn't in them files, he'd be releasing them files. It's for no other reason to bust other people out. If for no other reason than to bust other folk out, he would release them damn files if he wasn't in them. But he is in them files. That's why he's considering this a hostile act. If you sign on to releasing them files, he's going to consider you hostile toward him. And we know how he act when he figure people are hostile toward him. With narcissists, you're either with them or you're against them. There is no in between. A narcissist will look at you. You are either for me or against me. Ain't no middle ground. Remember that when you're dealing with people. That's a true sign of a narcissist. There's no middle ground. It's all or nothing. And that's what he's telling them. You either with me or you're against me. If you sign on to releasing those files, that's a hostile act towards me. That's a confession. That's a straight up confession. Deal with it, accept it, or continue to have your brain played with, or your mind played with, because they playing in y'all face. He in them files. That's why they don't want to release them. And anybody who goes against him and say release them, he's considered a hostile act. Confession. He might as well say, hey, look, I'm in the damn files, and be through with it.
Trump is not going to let those Epstein files out willingly. The Congress went back in there and there's like 33,000 pages that need to be released. And he ain't letting them pages go because he's in there. He knows a lot of people there. It's gonna make him look like a bad president, which is why he's not gonna release it. Because the Congress just went back up in there. That is crazy to me. That is so crazy. Like, Trump, if you did what you did, at this point, I don't even understand why he's so afraid to let the files out, because we all know you can do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, and you still president, so he might as well just release the files. Yeah, people gonna... I don't think Trump knows the faster you release the files, the faster it'll, quote unquote, go away. He's trying to make it go away, and people are still going to press you. I don't understand Trump sometimes. Just release the files. Everybody already know you ain't no...
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
That's not what the survivors are saying.
I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings.
It's actually sad that she has to identify herself as a Republican just to receive any form of empathy. She made a great point mentioning that this is not a political thing, because it shouldn't be. This is clearly not a hoax. This is a deflection.
We are 2 votes short of getting the Epstein files released.
Right now, Republicans have a decision to make. If you really want to be the party that cares about life, then vote to have the list released. Get it? You're the party that stripped healthcare away from their people. Are you really the party of PDF files? You know what? Asked and answered. Because everything Republicans always leads to them touching kids. Christianity. Full stop. Not only that, of course, the guy that wants to lower the consent to 14, the same guy that wants to protect his pedo friends. Honestly, if we do not get those 2 signatures that we need to release the Epstein files, Republicans will always be known as the pedo party.
The White House just told NBC News that any Republicans who sign the Epstein Files Transparency Act will be committing a, quote, very hostile act toward the administration. Could Trump appear any more guilty? The act would require the DOJ to release any remaining Epstein files, including client lists, redacted files, and anything else that American people have not seen yet. 12 Republicans have already signed onto the bill, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Does anyone really think this is a hostile act? No, what was a hostile act is what Jeffrey Epstein and potentially Donald Trump did to these underage women.
From what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
He doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow walking.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from 2 people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax. Subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from 2 people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about.
That dumbass makes me fucking sick. Republicans can no longer say that they are downplaying or trying to completely deny the fucking validity of the fucking Epstein files and these victims. I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about these fucking files that he's all in. I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about these files that he specifically asked Pam Bondi and the DOJ to redact him out of. And it's just so sick because you know there are other Republicans that are just going to completely make shit up and try and talk about Donald Trump's first 8 months, which has been fucking terrible. Just fucking terrible. But they're still going to try and gaslight that this whole case is a fucking hoax just to fucking protect an alleged child abuser. It's insane. But now we can say without speculation, at this point, Republicans are actively covering for a child abuser. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. In a bipartisan effort, the Congressional Oversight Committee subpoenaed these files. And of those 300 gigabytes, they have received 1 gigabyte. And of that 1 fucking gigabyte, 97% of that was already in public domain. So it's clear that they're trying to fucking slow walk this, and it is not going to work.
Hey peeps, long time no talk. There's been some big updates on the Epstein case, so let's get into it. Reps Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie both filed a discharge petition today to bypass Speaker Johnson and get the vote to release the unredacted Epstein files on the House floor. The catch is that this discharge petition needs 218 signatures. Of course, all of the Democrats are going to vote for it, but that means that 6 Republicans need to sign this discharge petition. Fun fact, Thomas Massie is a Republican, so we have 1 Republican down. 3 other Republicans have also said they are going to sign the discharge petition. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, and Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. If I did the math correctly, that means we need 2 more Republicans to sign this discharge petition to get it on the House floor. If you live in a Republican district, your representative is a Republican, call them. Keep calling them, and keep calling them until they hear the public pressure, because that is exactly what happened with our public land sale in the big ugly bill. Enough people called Republican lawmakers and told them, hey, get this nasty provision out of the bill, and it happened. Like I said, Call them. Now, why does all of this matter? This is, of course, my opinion, but I think that this is finally coming to a head. I think that the pressure is finally beginning to build, and we may actually get a break in this case. We may actually get some justice for these victims. And at the end of the day, that's what this is for. It does not matter if you have an R by your name, a D by your name, anybody who is in those files, who did those awful, evil, disgusting, vile things to those women, to those men, they need to be held accountable. Full stop. Of course, after all is said and done, what did our fearless leader, Donald Trump, say? Well, I will insert the clip right here.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
And so, people, I'm asking all of you right now, how about we don't stop talking about it? How about we continue talking about it? We demand and continue to demand that Trump, his administration, the Department of Justice, we continue to put their feet to the fire to release these files. These women need to have justice. They deserve that. So, release the Epstein files in their entirety, fully unredacted.
So check this out. Marjorie Taylor Greene just completely exposed Donald Trump's Epstein cover-up, and she called him out for calling it a hoax. That's really a sentence I never thought I'd ever say about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but in a new interview today, she said she got a lot of pushback and phone call after phone call from the White House last night trying to discourage her from signing on to the Epstein discharge petition to try to get the files released. She also ripped into the White House for calling the petition a hostile act toward them, calling the official who said it a coward. So just think about what Marjorie Taylor Greene just said right there. The White House is calling members, begging them to not release these files. They're saying it'd be considered a hostile act to the White House. They are actively covering up and protecting one of the worst criminals in modern American history. And here's more. She accused them of hating Representative Thomas Massie, a Republican who helped set up the press conference, more than any Democrat, and said they don't want to work with Democrats at all. She also told Trump to invite the Epstein survivors to the Oval Office so he can be a champion for them on this issue. Does she not know that Donald Trump has been slamming these people? Covering up for Epstein, was Epstein's best friend. I mean, give me a break. He's never going to be a champion on this issue. She also said she disagrees with Trump calling it a hoax. But she just confirmed live on air that the White House is actively trying to get Republicans to not release the files. I mean, that is damning.
These three Republicans and this Democrat are trying to pass a petition that is going to force Congress, you know, those corrupt politicians that got rich while they were in government. Yeah, those guys. They're trying to force those guys to release all of the Epstein files. All of them. All of them. The only redactions would be the victims. And all of those elite billionaires that rule the world that you guys have been talking about, we'll be able to know who those people are. Because you guys were right. Now, what the Department of Justice and that politician that got rich in government, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, he does not want that to happen. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. He wants to follow the normal process. And he said he would continue releasing the files, but they get to redact not only the victims, but things that they think are irrelevant, sensitive, or reputationally harmful. That means they are going to redact all of those elite billionaires that you guys have been saying rule the world. They will be able to redact those names, okay? So if you live in a red state, it is very important for you to call your representative in Congress and put pressure on them to sign the petition that these 3 Republicans, mega Republicans, and 1 Democrat to fully release the files. All right.
This is all I got from this video. How is this a hoax? How is it a hostile act to go a White House? It is the party of God's kingdom, not until it's time to release Epstein's file. It is the party of children, that party that doesn't want abortion, that doesn't want kids to be harmed, not until it is time to release the Epstein's file to know who has defiled a child or not. It is the party that is truthful, not until it's time to release the Epstein's file. It is the party that protects human rights, not until it is time to release the Epstein's file. So why are they making noise? And he is trying to tell you that instead of focusing on the file, why not focus on how many months he's been in the office and how successful it's been? There is nothing successful about your regime. Your regime is a flop, big time. Release that file. Release it. The fact that you mounted that pulpit to tell people that it is a hoax, how is it so? And then blaming them, how did Democrat become the people? Were Democrat the ones that filed, are they the ones that came up as victims? He can never be a champion in this particular case, as you and I know. And why is he threatening them? And why is he a threat to the White House? Sometimes I don't know how some people are still defending this administration. See, there are some things that are not defendable. Please do not defend me when it comes to this kind of BS, because I do not ever want to get myself into this kind of BS in my life. God forbid. God forbid. People are saying White House is this going to do the White House, because the person that is in the White House, the head of the White House, is also part of the person that the name is on the list. So what do you want me to say at this point in time? Call your congressmen and women. Call all of them. Call your states, call them, tell them to release the file. You also have a part to play at this point in time, because now, you see, there is nothing they have not done to cover up this Epstein. I mean, like, this is the worst period I've ever seen. I mean, 1 minute we're gonna release it, the other minute they tell you, oh no, why do we have to release it when you are supposed to focus on what is going on? You all have to be truthful, so that to make sure, because see, children are the most innocent human beings anyone can ever imagine. And when you expose them to danger and all that, it becomes really very hard to raise them. Why? Because when they've been exposed to some dangers, right, their growing up becomes harder for them. We have to end this. And how do you end it? It starts with you and I. And how are we supposed to continuously pressure them to release that file, so you know who is who, know who to fear, know who you are not going to fear, know who is supposed to be behind the bar, not the people that are actually doing jobs and doing the right thing out there, going about their business, and somebody from nowhere will say that they look like the suspect or something. I would draw the curtain here, but you and I know the names of the people that are on that list. Bye for now.